I suffered for a while with sleep paralysis. For years. And it's been a while since I've had sleep paralysis. One thing that really helped me was repeating to myself I was falling asleep and I was in full control of my dreams. I had a passing interest in lucid dreaming, and it just so happened that the two were somewhat related, as a lot of people who tried to lucid dream seemed to accidentally venture into sleep paralysis. So, I do recall a night where I had woken from sleep paralysis, and I needed answers. By what means I can't remember, but it led me to a small book, or I should say short, and it was very succinct in its information, and I carry that with me to this day. The most poignant fact being reminding yourself that you are in control. So, it had been a while since I've had that feeling of paralysis where you're completely held down against your will. And, I chalked it up to maybe the book, but it never really had a schedule, and sure enough, it reared its ugly head. But this time my mind was prepared. This time, as the creature approached, there was a knock on the door, and two men, dressed very formally, the very stereotypical Men in Black look, not from the movies, but, from like the History Channel specials. They came in, scooped up my sleep paralysis demon, and left. I was very groggy, but I recall, during this whole ordeal, being thankful and apologizing for the mess. They left, I bid them a good night, and then I crawled back into bed and fell asleep. I think about that because that was the very last time I had a sleep paralysis demon. But there's also a little seed of thought that sometimes I like to entertain. And bear with me on this one. What if they actually came? Now that would be an interesting story. I only bring it up because you hear all these stories about people's run-ins with the Men in Black and how they're usually negative. And then there's this. And I could say saved my life. Because damn, if that was an actual thing. And they came in, they're like, nope, you escaped. Yep, sorry about that, goodbye. They didn't say a word during this whole thing. They don't even look at me. I have memory of this. An image of them in my doorway, looking past me with their sunglasses and their hats on, the fedoras. Pretty featureless, plain. Like, I think they were cleanly shaven, like head and everything. I'm not sure. I didn't really see stubble, but of course, this could very much be a dream. And I don't remember because, of course, details in a dream are usually fuzzy. But it's interesting to think about because I remember after watching some YouTube videos and finding myself down a rabbit hole, I was looking into what people referred to as lizard people. And a lot of the theory around that is the feeding on negativity. That there's some sort of base behind the moon where our souls will be harvested. It's fun to know there's a bit of fantasy still in the world. I mean, maybe they're real. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be insulting lizard people out there. I respect all people, lizard, animal, mammal, reptile, arachnid, whatever have you. Whether your skeleton's on the inside or the outside, you have one eyeball, two eyeballs, I don't care. I'll respect you if you respect me. But, that's what a lot of people who have these sleep paralysis instances, they usually recollect lots of fear, primal fear, and you're usually paralyzed and on your back. It seems an awful lot like some sort of medical scenario, because usually when you're being, what's the word? When you're going into surgery and you're going to be worked on, you're usually on your back, depending on, what kind of surgery, I suppose, but... And the fact that they say that they feed on the negative emotions, and there is a point in human sleep that's been documented where we're just completely catatonic, we are paralyzed, and some of the explanations I read are sleep paralysis stems from the overlapping of these states, where REM sleep is interrupted and you're in that what do they call it, wakeful sleep or something, light sleep, between dream sleep and healing sleep, or I forget, but and then you hear about alien abductions. They were finding out when the perfect time to fit. It's we can't go in like that. We gotta be covert. Jimmy, we gotta go in there when they're sleeping. Now, we gotta wait for the right time, and when the right time is. And they know it too. Have you read the old books? They think it's a demon. Yeah, we've been getting tanks of this stuff off them. I tell you what. I don't know. Fun to entertain some fantastical ideas, but when it all comes down to it, I really think it could have been the media I was ingesting at the time. I don't really remember ingesting a lot of Men in Black stuff, but who knows? I've always kind of had an affinity for pseudoscience stuff, because hey, why not? It's fun to think different. But yeah, to an extent, I suppose that could be a slippery slope. Gotta be careful with that one. But yeah. So I'll wrap this up, but it's pretty interesting to think about that there's, not only consciousness, but the whole thing about sleep, the cycles of sleep and everything, dreaming, lucid dreaming, stuff like that. It fascinates me to hear some people either don't have dreams, or they have dreams in black and white. I vary, but a lot of the times I have full use of everything. Usually, taste sometimes escapes me, but I do remember a dream. Oh, and I remember it tasted so good. There was a mutual friend of my cousin and I that had passed away a few years back, and I remember having a dream about him. And he's like, "Oh, come on in, guys." He was running an art store. He was a musician in his life, and a music teacher. So it was perfect to see him in my mind's eye running an art shop where the paintings were morphing with ethereal paints. And he's like, "Oh, I got a treat." He goes up into his cabinet and he pulls out this it was granola. And I remember I took a bite in my dream and it tasted divine. I can't put my finger on it, but it was everything you ever could have wanted when you've looked at something and it tasted just as much as you wanted it to taste. I don't know. That was a whole jumble of words, but I don't know how to explain it. But the mind is an incredible thing, because to think about that, the whole world, we perceive it as electrical impulses, sight, sound, taste, everything we take in is just an impulse sent to the brain. I don't know how it kicked in, honestly. And, it was more or less like an instinct when, as soon as the sleep paralysis started, I didn't even think like, oh, I'm in control, I'm in a dream, I'm in control. I feel like I didn't have to do that mantra because I had done it so many times that, like, as soon as I recognized I was in a dream, it was like, bam, all right, let's try flying. But like, it wasn't like that. It was more or less an instant. It was instantaneous. No thought needed. It was just like, oh, sleep paralysis. Oh, there's a knock on the door. Hey guys. Oh, thanks. Have a good night. So like, that's pretty interesting to me, and it's the power of the brain to be able to wire it to to overcome that. I guess I don't know. I'm probably going to eat my words, because it's been years since I've had sleep paralysis. I'm probably going to sleep tonight and wake up and be like, ah, crap, there it is again. But yeah, anybody suffering with it, give it a try. You know, tonight when you lay down, remind yourself you're going to be sleeping. Remind yourself that you're in control. And I've done it quite a few times. Most dreams I have pretty good control, at least to the point where I can navigate the land of my dreams, which I'll talk about in another video. But yeah, try using magic, try flying. You know, I've every dream that I know I'm in a dream, I try. I get sparks to come out of my hand. It's really cool. Sounds really nerdy. No, but you never know. You never know. You know, it's just one of those things. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat. The brain is a wild thing. I can't wait for the technology. I bet you there'll be a point where we'll be able to map a person's dream and be able to witness it. Now imagine that, like, being able to have a really good dream and being able to, like, show people, like, yeah, man, oh man, you should have seen it, like, oh, I was the ultimate fighter and I had the ultimate power level and I saved the world and I punched a meteor, and you know, it'd be pretty cool. You know, because you can always talk about dreams. That's always fun. But I wish I had the artistic ability. You know, AI is almost getting there, but that feels like cheating almost, because it's my dream. I want to create something. So here I am. I'm making a video. So yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. But yes. Oh yeah, my sleep paralysis demon. It looked like the dogs from Resident Evil. It was snarling. It looked wet and glistening. It was very dark, like black, very muscular, quite spread out in density. Like it didn't seem like a blob of mass. It was more or less. It felt like a blob of mass holding me down, but it did not look like it. It just felt like gravity, and it very candid. Very dog-like in appearance. And I only say, like, from Resident Evil because, like, it had a rippling musculature about it, like almost like it's been torn up, or it was grotesque, I suppose. In terms of the Men in Black, again, I honestly think it's my dream, but it's just still fun to entertain. But very much like you would see on, you know, like with the fedoras and the Ray-Ban sunglasses, the neat suits, you know, and everything like that. Not a word was said. They didn't even engage eye contact, in and out. Yeah. And I remember talking to this with somebody, and anyway, the idea was brought up that what if the article that I had read that had helped me through my quote-unquote sleep paralysis was a pamphlet, like, just like a little plant, like, oh crap, we found out where the creature went, it's torturing this one guy. What do we do? What do we do? Oh, he's Googling it. He's Googling it. All right, here it is. Send the thing that we made. All right, he's reading it. All right, we got it tonight. No, we gotta wait. Yeah. Oh, it's almost a curse to have quite the vivid imagination I do. I gotta start writing stuff. But anyway, I've pretty much signed off about 8 times. I do this to people on the phone too. If I like you a lot, you probably know that I will say goodbye 800 times. So, in any case, have an excellent evening.